Okay. Hello, everyone. Ooh, let's make sure you can hear me. Hey, Andrew. Happy Monday. Happy April. I hope everyone in the path of next week's eclipse can enjoy it. Yeah. Ooh, how has it been going for you all with the eclipse? I was in Seattle actually when the full moon eclipse was happening, like the lunar eclipse, and it was very magical, like even just where we were staying, like having the moon just shining down. Yeah, what a blessing. Um, lots of interesting dreams and all the things happening now. I want to say hello and welcome. Hey, Pius. Hello. Nice to see you. Yeah, well, let's get into it. It's been a long time. Hey, I'm like feeling the pause. So we're gonna see, how the energy is with these like breaks between, now that we're kind of shifting to these like lives to once a month, the beginning of the month. Hey, Tahira. Hello. Yeah, of course. With everyone, let me know if you'd like cards pulled. And I will get that. Oh, it's your birthday. Sweet Pies. Ooh, happy solar return when it comes. Hi, legit reviews. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, if you'd like cards pulled, you can let me know. I'll write people's names down. We're going to do like a collective energy reading slash whatever, pull some cards for the month of April. You can let me know, how was your March though? How have things been? I've seen some of you in the Ouroboros 713 gatherings. I can speak today. Hi, Dora King. Hello. And others I haven't really had a chance to connect with. So please let me know in the comments how things have been for you. Yeah. Ups and downs, Paya says. Okay. The cycles, hey? Yeah, Dora King, I wrote your name down here for some cards. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, look at all this birthday love. So whatever maybe your March look like, within the collective reading, your own kind of journey and experience, because this is all valid. Knowing that now April, you can feel it with spring, with that equinox that was just occurring the other week. It's like this rebirthing. We were talking about the energy now of like what wants to be like birthed out of us, created out of us, and the like. I really feel it. It's this like vibration that's like nudging us, like vroom, like really like propelling us, I guess, forward. And I'm so happy to hear that you found that reading of value, and like just as like with reading, sometimes the ups and downs, they kind of join into each other. So when we have, just like winter is a hibernation period, and then we go into this spring, we go into summer, it's like the polarity of it all. There's some power within that when we can just allow ourselves to be in it. And yeah, so I'm glad to hear that worked for you, Tahira. Well, let's start off with a bit of a guided practice here, just to kind of settle us all into the space. So wherever you are, if it's safe and you feel comfortable to have your eyes closed, you can do so. Otherwise, just gazing them somewhere in front of you. And allowing yourself to become aware of your body in the space where you are. Perhaps you allow your anchor to be on your breath, on the sensations of your body, of the sounds in the room around you. Just allowing yourself to come to a still point. Noticing the flow of life around you. And we're going to imagine now, no matter what your anchor is, this light, a bright white light, just in front and above your third eye. The spark of aspiration and inspiration, the spark of life. And it shines before you now and begins to bathe your third eye. That point just between the eyebrows. As you continue to notice and breathe in this energy into your third eye point, It fills those glands and the areas, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland inside. Bringing your ability to see with clarity. And you're really feeling this part of your body supercharging now. Your brain filling with light, your crown, and perhaps now the light starts to move down through your jaw, into your mouth, your throat, your neck, down into your shoulders, down into your chest and your heart, your upper back. Allowing it to move now through your awareness into your arms. This bright white light from the star above you begins to fill down into your hands, down into your belly, your torso, along your spine, all the way down to the tailbone, down into your womb, that pelvic bowl. Allowing that awareness and the light beginning to fill now into your legs, through your thighs, down through your knees, your shins and calves, filling you with this bright light, this vibration. It continues to move down now through your ankles and your heels, the soles and tops of your feet, down through your toes. Your entire body filled with this bright light. Allowing it to supercharge you. Bringing clarity, bringing the healing. Any places that you feel need that extra oomph of this energy, you can allow it to settle in that part of your body, into that aspect of your mind, the thoughts, into your energetic field expanding around you. And over this weekend, I was really reminded of the importance of the ripple effect and how our actions, no matter how big or small, go out into the world. And so now with your light, this body filled with this light, imagining it rippling out into your room around you, into the space you occupy now. If there are coworkers next to you, imagining it just rippling and moving through them, moving through the plants and the objects around you, and making its way all the way out of the building that you're in, out into the city that you find yourself in, and imagining every person, every animal, every object being like infiltrated with this bright light energy that you have drawn through you and now out. And expanding like that star blessed you initially, you now being this star, shining this light out. Each of us with our individual places, impacting that world around us through this ripple of light. Not holding on to what the light does or how it changes things, rather just letting it flow with this love and appreciation for this opportunity. And now bringing your awareness into the heart space. Maybe you imagine here now a little ball of light that's sun yellow, orange. Seeing that personal sun inside of you, that tiferet, your heart, your Christ consciousness. This awakening during this Easter Monday, that you get to be this light in the world. It is truly a choice. So how are you going to continue to create these ripples out? And on your next inhale, just allowing the image of all that to just fade away as you return to the sensations, to the breath, to the room around you. And let us go into the April. What messages do you have for us, Spirit, this April 2024? For this month of growth, I'm hearing, seeing here. What does growth look like in your life right now, folks? What areas of growth have you been leading to stagnancy? What areas of growth have you kind of been putting the cap on? Okay. We know when we see plants that when plants are in the process of growing, hi Isabella, yes, we got your name down here. When plants are in the process of growing, it is paramount that we have them in the proper pots, in the proper places in which they can actually take root. So they need proper soil, and they need the light, and they need water, and they need the size of the jar, the container, to be able to hold them. And if, you know, we're in I have this, and this is the plan even for today, actually, now as I speak, it's like, okay, these pots that I have with plants, they now need to go into new pots, because otherwise they just stay stagnant. They don't grow. They don't expand beyond. You know, we did this exercise at the beginning where we're expanding beyond our container of our room. And so, you know, for many of us, it can be a challenge where we want to just stay within the comfortable container in which we find ourselves. And yet for this month of April, it seems as though we're being called to open up where it is that we are expanding and the environments in which you find yourself in, so that this growth can happen. So what are these, you know, I want to say lids that are kind of you've put on yourself? What are the lids that you've put on? Okay. Over the last week and a bit, this might be showing up because of this eclipse season for many of you, where this realization, it could be beliefs. Okay. It could be the way you're perceiving the world around you. That I would say is probably like the number one that holds us. We might not even be aware of what our beliefs are. So if you're noticing your dreams, which most likely are showing up more, I would encourage you waking up journaling. Okay, right away, write out whatever you remember from the dream. Ask questions about what is it about this dream that's wanting to show me something about myself, and allow that to be the influence for you to start shifting your beliefs. Okay. So as the lids of our growth, things that are trying to cover, okay, or that and it's not like it's like an oppressive energy necessarily of like, oh my God, this horrible thing's there. And it's, you know, that in itself is a belief, a victimization. You know, so if it's a belief, what is the belief? What is one of those lids there of a thought form that you've carried since your childhood? So we're going to pull cards on that just real quick. See kind of if there's a theme around that belief, and then we'll go into some of the other lids that might be covering, because I think a huge one too for many people would be relationship. What relationship? But for now, belief. So the first card that came out is actually the Four of Pentacles. So for those of you for this month feeling a bit of sense, you know, if we look at the Pentacles as growth in the sense of the material world, what beliefs do you hold around, I want to say the word covetedness? You know, it's like, how are you holding on to things so tightly and not being willing to generously give or share of your time, your money, your energy. Everything is just energy. Okay. What is this belief that you are holding this month? It's going to really start to shine for you, ways in which you have held. We did this interesting exercise this weekend that led me to realize that for myself, a belief that I have subconsciously been holding on to is that when I give, it comes at a cost. So for me to give generously, not even a material thing, just to give of my time, to lend a listening ear, I often have held this belief really deep inside that it's going to cost me something. It's going to cost me money, energy, time, my own well-being, you know. And so this sense here of oh my gosh, this is just super, super heavy. Okay. Hi, Empress Irish. Hello. If you'd like cards, you can let me know. So that first part of April, you know, this recognition of the growth, these lids, one of the lids that we use to kind of suppress ourselves from growing, being the belief systems, and one of those belief systems being around money, around holding on to that which think you hold dearly, and also feeling like you can't give it, because if you give it, it's going to be gone. Okay. We also have the Knight of Swords. So maybe for some of you, there is this sort of like overwhelming way in which your thoughts are attacking. This could even be the attacking of other people with your thoughts. You know, the concept of psychic attack was coming up before, and I'm kind of getting that with this card for some reason. There's like this fierceness of your thoughts that are psychically attacking you. And karmically, if you are psychically attacking another person, then this is going to only impact you. Okay, these are beliefs. So what is it in your belief systems that you are sending out, like jealousy or envy or greed or some like really like dark things that are in the shadow aspect? Okay, what there are you kind of thinking or believing that's putting this force, the fire, you know, I want to say in this case. And yeah, there's like to me, the swords, the wands, like the swords can be identified with air. In this case, I'm really seeing it as this like if you were to throw daggers at someone, like that would have a major impact. Okay. Yes, Empress Irish, we'll get you cards as well. And I just want to speak, you know, I've had people come on here, different, like, you know, everyone's like cards. So just so you know about the order, if you're new here, members get kind of that first priority with the card pulls that I hope to get through everyone today anyway. So hopefully you can tune in or come back, watch the recording if you can't stay for the whole live. Okay. So Pius says, I feel angry. Yeah, okay, Pius. Maybe you want to elaborate on that. That's up to you. Otherwise, feeling that anger, that's okay. Feeling the anger towards others, you know, these things are all part of that shadow energy. It's just now, what do we want to do with it? And this is part of the work. This is part of the growth and development of ourselves, okay? So let's just keep kind of exploring this, the lids. I mentioned the relationship aspect. Okay, so relationships, and I've talked about this before, kind of from my own experiences of how relationships can kind of like tie us back, where we hold on to the relationships. You know, so perhaps for some of you right now, this belief of the soulmate is really holding you. Oh my God, like, you know, how much do we believe in the societal pressures of relationships? Okay. Even today, it's technically like my partner and I's anniversary. Like we picked today, April 1st, just because that's when we like came into each other's lives. And, you know, it's like, my kid's like, oh, well, I'm not getting you a gift. And we're like, no, you don't have to get us any gifts. And I'm like, I didn't get you a gift. Love you. And he's like, yeah, I didn't get you a gift. And I'm like, yeah, like these beliefs that we have in relationship, how is it that we're holding on to this concept of soulmate? For myself, coming from a past where I was very much in a relationship that I was like holding on to so strongly, it limited me from growing. Though there was growth within that, you know, learning to then let go of the concept. And yet it just kept putting me down. Like it was as if I put this lid on myself, and my plant, myself, couldn't really expand into its blossom, its fullest expression. Okay. So what about the relationships? The concept of soulmate for this month maybe wants to be shed so that you can grow, because you don't need another person to make yourself grow. Like plants don't grow. And in actuality, you know, at one point I grew a cannabis plant because that's legal in Canada. And we decided to put 2 of them in the same pot. And I learned after that, and they grew, that you can't do that because only one will be able to survive. And the message that I got from the plants as the harvest time came was, the one plant was like, you know, this wasn't a failure on the gardening part. This was because one plant needed all the nutrients, all of that energy in order to successfully grow and come to the harvest point, and the other plant gave itself up. So I was like, oh, okay, lesson learned. If you're going to do that again, have two separate pots. Like, this concept again of being able to grow and expand within relationship. How can you both be in your own in containers? Ooh, this is hitting me just for a moment, and allow each to grow and even to match each other in some capacity without being codependently linked and growing in the same pot where one is suffering and the other is expanding, okay? Or however that might be that you perceive that. So I'm just going to read some of these comments. Interesting. I'm having dark thoughts lately, Empress Iris says. Pious. I feel angry with my family, the way it's going with them right now. First time in life. Dark, like sad. I feel angry with people as well. When I see through them, it makes me angry. Seeing through them. Okay. I wonder what that means, Pious. Like, what seeing through them, seeing the reflection of yourself in them, or seeing through, like in terms of hypocrisy or lies, and those are relationships that most likely then need to be like severed. So as one of those lids that are covering you. And yes, sometimes that can be family, and that's hard. I've had to, I finished this women's weekend this weekend, and I was like, oh, I had a horrible migraine. I'm like, I'm just going to go home, chill, it'll be nice. And it's literally as soon as I start driving onto the highway to return home, my mom calls me and she's like, where are you? She's like, you need to meet me right now. I have something for you. And it was just this like, and I'm like, no, I just had to be like, no. I'm like, I love you. Thank you. I appreciate that you got something to give to me. And right now, this isn't going to work for where I'm at, this migraine, like me driving around now. It's like I had a plan. It's going to be me taking care of myself, returning home, and let's talk about this tomorrow. And so, it can be hard because in family, you really feel, especially when there's codependency within those relationships, family is like the best way in which we can like manipulate and get people to do things for us because we've been with them for our whole lives. So really starting to separate and detach from that, growing in your own pot this month of April. Okay. Hi, Jay. I wrote your name down. I will hopefully get you some cards today as well. Pious. It's like you can be nice, but then people have the audacity of being selfish, even in a conversation. And then you realize the world ain't that nice that I did believe earlier. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and you know what? I'm noticing this energy lately. I talked with my teacher too. I think what it came down to, like the thing that came up for me, I'll just share, Pius, that like the anger. Okay, first off, the thing that showed up was the anger is this teenage angst. So if you were as a teen, if you're anything like me, very emotionally like, because you're just probably a sensitive person to energy. You didn't really have a place to explore emotions, thoughts, feelings, grief, if it was there, different scenarios that happen in life. It seems as though right now the shadow really coming up for some people has been this teenage angst, that anger. And for me, it was tied to the same of like, oh my God, there's like a hypocrisy. People say this thing, then they do this thing or whatever. And then I started to realize like, okay, well, everyone's kind of going through the same thing. And I too also sometimes do the same behavior. So that recognizing that mirror, okay, and I guess having compassion for self and then listening to self is what I've been like, okay, what is this anger and like this teenage aspect that never got to express anger or didn't have a safe way to be seen within the anger. Now I get to see you. So whatever that might be for you, I just speak that. Tahira, I severed ties with my mom last week. It was the best thing for me. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. And, it's not easy. And I think there's so many relationships between parents and kids now. And I hope none of us have to experience this where, it really like in the future, especially with our own kids, that we have to have that happen. And yet recognizing like there's reasons for that, for the healing for others. So yeah, sending you lots of love as you go through that transition. Tahira. Oh, I did that all by myself in childhood, the processing of anger. Andrew says, I've told other friends about feeling that teenage sensation again and also needing the right parts of it. Ooh, I like that, Andrew. Yeah, so great that you're recognizing it. It's like, oh, look, we've kind of gone through like a rebirthing. So here we are, of course, now going through this process of adolescence. And imagine if we'd had that in our circles growing up. I mean, I wouldn't say my high school years were really that disruptive or anything. It felt pretty supportive, and yet, like, we're teens. We don't know any different. Now, coming with the wealth of knowledge and consciousness that we have, how can that be a contribution for us and for others? Like you're sharing there, that awareness, Andrew. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Ooh, let's see. Is there another lid here? We had relationships. We had holding on to the covetousness of money or energy. Any other lids for this month of April that might be hindering or that our growth wants to see? Ooh, I think we have 2 gray cards. We have instinct and we have confusion. Huh. Look at this, the air, again, so the swords being the air card, okay? There's something here that might be covering. There's some veil of illusion here. I kind of get the sense this is tied to that, the belief systems as well, okay? So these lids are the beliefs around money, of things we feel we have to hold on to, beliefs about the relationships, and there's also some other okay, let me just pull one of these. I'm kind of getting, it's almost like a malicious energy here. And I don't want to create like a fear. But like the energy that I was getting as I was seeing those cards laid down is like the illusion of society and what you might see on the news, what you might see on in the media around you. What people might be telling you, especially around like war and stuff. We have the 6 of Wands, which is the victory card. And we have the disc, Princess of Discs. And we have peace. So, I'm not sure I want to say this because I really actually have no idea what is happening in the media right now, in the news around like war or like political conflict and things like that. I know that there are things happening, like with Gaza and all this. So I want to just speak to the concept here that no matter what anyone is saying, okay, I feel like this might cause a lot of like, I'm not really a political person on YouTube. I think there's no space really within the work that I do for that. I believe that horrible things happen. I believe that horrible things happen for a reason. And it sucks and it shows us the shadow. And also as someone who has had life experience within some of these my own horrible things that have happened, I can tell you that, and I feel like I've said this before on the channel, I'll just give an example. When I used to live in the Middle East, and it was like after the whole 9/11 and they invaded Iraq. And so there was war, happening. I wasn't necessarily in a place where it was like horrifically detrimental, and yet the stories that were being fed to people here in the West, because we would have conversations with family, did not at all mirror what was happening where I lived. Okay, something was bombed and this huge big story was happening. We're being told in the media about this bombing, and in actuality, nothing had happened. It was what actually happened was significantly less of an importance than the media had sensationalized, put this confused smoke and mirrors energy. Okay. And so how can we use our thoughts and our minds to bring peace and victory? How can we, in our political stance, in the media, and the things that we're being fed, allow our mind and our physicality to actually mirror peace? And what this would look like, I'm seeing here with the Prince of Discs, is us being kind of like this messenger in light of, when there are different opinions or views or debates around politics and who's in the right, who's in the wrong, no matter where, if it's in the Ukraine and Russia, if it's in with Israel and Gaza, like these energies, okay, it's just creating more division. I didn't really make a video yet about this. I was going to share just about my trip to Seattle, and something that came up when we went to the show. We went to watch a band, and the opening band had the platform of dismantling white supremacy, which, like, as a person of color, I would be like, yeah, I don't want to see people who are harming other people because of this color of their skin, okay? And yet the words that the lead singer spoke kind of as the platform was, we will forever fight white supremacy. Like, this is our mission. We're going to fight it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. And you also realize what you've just spoken into reality is, in order to fight something, you need to have something to fight. The war against drugs, the war against breast cancer. Now I'm becoming like a preachy type person on here, so we'll get into card pulls soon. It's like this energy. How can we reduce that? Shifting the perspective, being the light, allowing ourselves to not get caught up in the smoke and mirrors, and just letting our own self grow. I believe this card is actually one of the cards that is tied to kind of like the beginning of like the transformation times of the seasons. Okay, I'd have to look from like the Thoth card book. And yet it's like, how can we be that transformation in the world around us, even when shitty things are being preached or told to us that are happening? And this doesn't mean to turn a blind eye and say, oh, it's not real. It's like, and yet, how do we create the ripples in our life? I am not going over to Gaza or to the Ukraine to do something. That's not in my reality, as for many of you. There are some who will join, humanitarian efforts, and they have that opportunity to do that, and that's their calling. That here now, what can we do in our realities, in our communities in which to create the ripples, to give this sense of peace and victory and love? And that, I think, is the important part for us to recognize our own container, our place where we are growing, okay? So whatever that might mean for you. Whew. I think hopefully I avoided getting too political in that conversation. Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to just read this, and then we're going to get into the personal card pulls, because I feel like we'll pull one ruin actually for April for the collective, and then we'll do that. I just wanted to read. So state government is being held accountable by the central governments. In India, I think you mean. In India, the chief minister of Delhi is in jail by the home minister. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I stopped watching the news when I saw what was being shown on the news of what was happening in downtown Ottawa, and I physically saw it wasn't true. Yeah, there's just like a lot of like untruth. And there's three sides to every story. How can we side with one and like lock ourselves into something? I think the side I want to lock into is like acceptance and acknowledgement for all people. Woo! So we have Ewo. I don't know why I cast that. It did kind of land on its side. So anyways, Ewo, this energy of the arrow I'm seeing, this focus. So, where are we putting our focus this month of April? Can we spend time each day meditating, imagining, even if it's a symbol, maybe we don't actually know. Maybe, this has been said, it's like, why do we keep talking about the history? Yes, we need to know history. And then it's like, otherwise history repeats itself or something. It's like, but if we keep feeding ourselves about history, then does it not just instill what's happening? So I'm going to invite everyone to imagine like I'm seeing here a white flower, okay? This blooming white flower, imagining whatever symbol, if it's a dove, like a white dove, if it's some concept of peace, of unity, whatever that might be in your culture, in your lens, something that you hold to represent that, meditating on that every day for this month of April. And I think that is going to help versus being like, no, imagine if everyone was just in so much peace and love and hugging each other. Like, because I don't think that's ever going to happen. This polarity, law of polarity. It's a universal concept. We cannot get rid of good and we cannot get rid of evil. It's going to be everything. Our role is to allow ourselves to flow within it all and to hold up, I think, that higher vision of what is the symbolic representation, so that we can kind of come from a neutral place. It's not attaching to it as like, oh my God, this has to happen. It's more of a, I'm going to be that as the representation here and allow it to flow. And whatever that does, it does something. It's moving out. This is our role, I think, as energy workers, as healers, as sensitives, empaths, highly intuitives, whatever you want to call it. Okay? So how can you utilize that for this month of April for yourselves? What was the negative energy you mentioned? Was it only for wars and politics? I think it can be applied to anything that's polarizing, except the main thing was it was kind of tied to the whole idea, Pius, of the smoke and mirrors that society creates. This could also be the smoke and mirrors that people around you in your workplace, you know, your colleagues create, like whoever, whatever. There's no right or wrong. You can identify that for yourself. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that, I don't think. Okay, so these lids for April that we are really being called to just lift up so we can, in the summertime, recognize our growth as these beautiful beings, the beautiful being that you are, and allowing yourself to, you know, tune into, like I said, even just simply that practice of imagining the white flower or a dove or some symbol of peace, in which we can start to bring that vibration into our lives. And perhaps even just that would be a way to shed awareness on those beliefs, on the relationships, whatever other lids might be holding or covering your container in which you now have not been able to grow from. Okay? I think that's what I meant, Pius, by like, how do we deal with it? Like just kind of like focusing our mind in the area of peace or that symbol. Okay? That's the same message my RMT said for the month of April, since there are interesting astrological events. Oh, cool. Well, that's a confirmation for me, because I just... Thanks, emphasize. Okay. We're going to go into the card pulls. I feel like we're going to do some bibliomancy, because that kind of just called. So just bear with me. Oy, 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 oy. We're going to use this Joe Dispenza book, Becoming Supernatural. So I got a few people, if you are just joining in and you'd like cards pulled, you can let me know in the comments. I have written names down here. Hopefully those of you still asking are here. Obviously, like I said, those members that have requested kind of get the first priority. So I have a few of you there, and then we'll go in the order everyone else kind of had requested, okay? So take what you will from this. If you'd like to join the community, you can do so hitting the join button. That just kind of leads to some other videos and opportunities like live rituals, which we'll be having coming up soon. And also you can get free access to the Saturday morning gatherings. We meet the Ouroboros 713 gatherings Saturdays at 9:30, and Mountain Standard Time. We'll be meeting this Saturday, so you'll be able to get that. Also, if you join the like Practicus membership, there's access to different teachings like the pathworking teachings and things like that. So that's up to you. Also, if you want a personal reading, other support, you can check out my website, deepmindsquared.com. I think there's a link in the description for that. Personal readings, we just got to go deeper, and it's fun. To those of you who've done it with me, I think it's fun. Anyways, okay, Tahira, Let us start. Let's start. Tahira. Well, it's funny because I've actually never read this book. This is there. It's just for whatever reason I'm like it'll call me. It'll call me. Ooh, okay. Let's see what this says. So starting off to here, it says, remember, if you're going to create the unlimited, you have to feel unlimited. If you're going to heal in a magnificent way, you have to feel magnificent. Tap into elevated emotion and sustain it throughout your meditation. What was that word I just read? You have to tap into elevated emotion and sustain it during your meditation. Okay. Oh, thanks, Tahira. Yeah, we had a great reading the other week. So, Tahira, oh, didn't you get perseverance last time? There's something here about this emotionality. We have the sacral card, okay? We have the orange. So there's something here. Maybe you're just feeling tired about that. You know, that even reading that, it's like, oh, how do I have to maintain magnificence? And how do I have to maintain the sense of like, really like a superbness, okay? I want to just invite you to recognize if you're feeling that tiredness, and that's okay, okay? Hi, Charlotte. Yeah, nice to have you here. Thank you. My Value Village Goodwill find, or wherever it was. All right, add your name here too, Charlotte. Okay. Anyways, here, yeah, this perseverance, if you're feeling this overwhelm, like just acknowledging that that's where you are within it, okay? Let's see what else. What else about this? And is there anything around the meditation? Not this deck? Okay. We'll pull it from the tarot. Is there anything around the meditation for Tahira that wants to be guided? If there's something in particular that you're manifesting right now or working on, I want to just say, like, having a break. You know, have you gone for like a massage or any type of self-care technique? Something, even if it's even getting your nails done, if there's something that you like, maybe you're getting your hair done, if it's like something that you know, yeah, I feel like it's something that you don't necessarily feel like is maybe, or society doesn't really see it as like self-care or beneficial, and yet you get like the supercharge from it. That's what I want to say. That's what I'm feeling like is wanting to call for you to take part in, okay? Definitely feeling tired of persisting and creating my future, okay? So with that being said, the Chariot card comes out, okay? Key 7, this was our card of last year. And I want to just point out the fact that, look what the Chariot's doing. The Chariot's literally just sitting there. The guy's not moving. He's preparing to move. The Sphinx aren't in a running position. They are resting. And also there's no harness on the Sphinx. The Sphinx moved the Chariot by magic. So there's nothing really that you need to necessarily do. It's okay to take the rest, even because that's going to still be a forward movement. The universe is moving you. And so if right now you need like this pause and break in order to be able to tap into that magnificence, or really hone in on that, what was the words he used again? The elevated emotion that you need to sustain in meditation. It's just like, okay, you know what? We've just pulled the card aside for now. You know, even those F1 racing cars or whatever, like they have to take a pit stop. Otherwise, like, they won't make it through the race. So can you know, there's something about that around perseverance. Can you have a rest, allow the rest so that you can trust your process and then come back to the meditation, come back to whatever it is that's going to be that which helps you to tap into the feelings of unlimitedness and the feelings of magnificence. So let's pull you one of these. I feel like I need that, and I have hair, nails, hair, etc. appointments booked for April. Oh, fun. Okay, that's great. Yeah. I feel like it's, you know, like, especially when it comes to this transition into spring, we feel the need to like go, because it's like literally the sun, the energy is like, everyone's waking up, everyone's excited. And so to listen to your own internal like circadian rhythm and 4 4 4 4. and be in that place. I think there's something there, okay? Dreams of abundance. Ooh, I like this. As you sleep, God, your angels, and your higher self are giving you divinely guided ideas, answers, and solutions. Be sure to record your dreams in a journal because they contain valuable insights that will help you manifest your desires into reality. So, just speaking to this, even if you're not doing things in the awake time, you're doing it and receiving it in the sleep time. So you're still working, you're still manifesting, you're still creating, and I feel like that can lead to a lot of clarity that will help you to ease into the process. Okay, Tiara? Ooh, that's fun. Ooh, I'm excited. Enjoy those appointments that you have. Yes, yes. Okay. Pius, we got you now. Let's see. What do the cards and well, let's start with the book. What messages do you have? Isn't this like the most amazing picture? That caduceus, that kundalini rising. Pius, what message do you have for her? Okay. Well, this is an interesting place to stop. Let's just read what it says. To see an example of how heart coherence creates brain coherence, take a look at graphics 8A and 8B in the color insert, okay? The first image shows relatively low normal beta brainwave patterns before the person begins to create heart coherence. The second image shows a significant change once the person moves into sustained heart coherence just a few seconds later. That's because the heart acts as an amplifier to influence the brain to create very coherent synchronized alpha brain waves. So I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm an expert about the whole heart coherence, brain coherence aspect. It's just that like we kind of did it, I guess, today in the meditation. My understanding, it's like the heart kind of can be open and sends out this huge field of energy around. So I feel like I'm being called here to ask you, Pius, like, how is it that your heart is open to the world around you? Okay. I'm going to just read the bit above this section. It says, it doesn't require moving mountains, only changing our internal state of being. This allows us to alter the way we act with one another, replacing stressful situations with positive experiences that give us energy, fill our spirit, and leave us with a sense of wholeness, connection, and unity. The brain may think, but when you turn your heart into an instrument of perception, it knows. And the example I wanted to just share with you, Pius, is a friend of mine had posted online about, they were on like LinkedIn, and they're like, yeah, I'm like, here I am, this beautiful woman wanting to just get myself seen or known for the work that I do. She's like a writer, creator. And she's like, it's annoying. I get harassed. Like, she's like, I got this like French person messaging me this love poem from over here, and then this guy over here saying this thing. And I was just like, oh, that's so yucky. And also, to dismiss and say like, just get over it. It's more that, yes, that isn't a form of harassment. And as women, we are going to face all sorts of experiences energetically, and everyone will, and I feel like as women, there's a different layer of that for sure. People think they can hide behind the mask of a computer screen to say things that are not appropriate, to cross boundaries, etc. And yet I was like, I offered up, I didn't share it yet on the post. I'm going to see if they want to even hear this, is this concept in Access Consciousness where it's like every type of energy is an energy that we want to use. So allowing the energy of harassment, that sounds so crazy, allowing this like, not to engage in it. That's not what I'm saying. To be like, oh, it's okay. It's more like when it comes like, look at that, when people post negative things on like the channel, sometimes I've done lives where there's people like, Satan worship her and da 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 da. Like, it's like, I could be like, oh my God, someone doesn't like it. Or I can be like, yes, like, give me more energy, give me your time, give me this, like, it's all that. So Pius, I feel like this concept of letting all the things showing up, you mentioned anger, you mentioned seeing almost like hypocrisy in people, letting all of that just bathe you and feed your heart and let it ripple out even more. Okay, this is going to completely change things. And it is in a way like a bit of a mindset, because you have to like surrender to it. Okay, I've been seeing 4444 very often. Interesting. Yeah, that's funny, because I just had to say that. When I just look up, I see 5005. Ooh, Dora King, something about a condo. Okay, I'll write it down. We'll see what happens. Your heart is a amplifier. Yes. You have something you got to remove, though. That's funny. 3 of Swords. 3 things that you might need to pull out of your heart. So I would recommend going into your heart during meditation, Pius, and asking yourself, journaling, what are these 3 swords? What has penetrated my heart? What has penetrated my heart over my past, in even past lives? There might be one that's a past life. How do I pull it out? And you might actually have to pull it out. Okay. What else about this heart coherence, Pius? Maybe wants to be seen. One of these cards, we're going to pull one of those. We have the King of Cups, so it's most likely related to maybe like an abusive masculine figure. I'm not sure if this would represent of your dad. Something about the masculine energy. Yeah, and there's like some grief. It's like a loss. So, there's some energy here, Pius, around, maybe it's grieving that father figure that you wish you had. If there was a loss of some masculine energy, the innocence around the masculine, things like this, really just returning to that love of self, okay? Imagining green going into your heart. You can ask the mother goddess or any energies that support you with that nurturance to just really support you. And I feel like this will help, all of this will help to shift that perception of the things that have come, and also to really open up that heart coherence. And that's going to then attract a lot more opportunities and people and engagements with things, okay? My father crossed a boundary and I feel sad I cannot get over it. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Yeah. So just breathing in that. Whatever anger, whatever emotions might be there, whatever feelings of not being able to change anyone's perception or view of it. Just asking those angels and guides to support you with that process so that you can be fully in your heart. Yeah, and so letting those tears flow and just feeling the grief. And I recognize it's super uncomfortable, and it's like sometimes it's feeling like I'm gonna get fucking lost in this. I might get so lost in the sadness and the sorrow and the grief that I may never come back. And I'll just tell you from experience within that like it'll completely change the energy and new understanding will come. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that happened. And such an invasion of your space and your personal self and boundary. So yeah, I'm just calling on those angels to support you, and take the time you need to just to allow those feelings to be okay. Yeah. Okay, Pius, thanks for being here. I'm glad that you can make it live, and yeah. Okay. Yeah, so if you feel there's 7, then do the work. Do the work around that. You know how. You're capable. And obviously, if you have questions, just message me. Okay, Empress Irish. Then we have Dora King, Isabella, Jay, and Charlotte. Empress Irish. Yeah, you're welcome, Pius. So again, those of you coming, I see people coming and going. If you'd like cards pulled, you can let me know. I think we'll have time to do everything. Okay. My God, you guys, this is why I haven't read this book. This is like so sciencey. And I have a problem with people who call themselves doctors, but they're like not a medical doctor. It's my own thing I gotta work on. But for you, Empress Irish, theta frequency brainwaves take over in the twilight stage when your mind is still awake, but your body is drifting off to sleep. This frequency is associated with deep states of meditation. Delta frequency brainwaves usually come during sleep, deep restorative sleep. However, over the last 4 years, my research team and I have recorded several students who can move into very deep delta brainwaves during meditation. Their bodies are deeply asleep and they are not dreaming. Ooh, interesting, I'm moving. But their brain scans show that their brains are processing very high amplitudes of energy. As a result, they report having profound mystical experiences of oneness, feeling connected to everyone and everything in the universe. Theta waves, he said. So I'm just going to show you a theta wave across the page. Right here. Okay. Oh, excusez-moi. So Empress Irish, what I kind of was getting, I noticed my body started moving. So when that happens for me, it's like a channeling thing. So I feel like here there's something for you around like this ability of like receiving energy and a deep state, whether it's through lucid dream, meditation, and being called to channel, to like be a messenger almost for like spirit. So we're going to pull some cards around that. Hi, Miss Megs. Ooh, okay, I'll add your name to the list. We'll see how many folks we can get in. Okay. Oh, damn it. The cards are all the way over there. Come over here. Okay, just a minute. I actually have to get up and get this one. Ooh, we have the Knight of Cups again. And Empress Irish, we also have the Eight of Pentacles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 being the magic of hold. I'm just going to show you this. I feel like there's something here, Empress Irish, that like maybe it's like you're not acknowledging your gift. You're not acknowledging the ability of your body and your mind to enter into this deep state in which you can receive. And you're busy like thinking you need to complete something. Like maybe you think you need to complete like courses. Like, you know, you can take a mediumship course. I just kind of feel like that's nonsense, okay, for you. Like you don't need to do any of those things. I'm not even sure if this is the stuff that you're doing or interested in. Like you carry a very important role, is what I'm seeing with the Knight of Cups, is he's walking ahead with that cup, like just bearing this forward for humanity. And that has a lot of responsibility. I get that. You know, it can make us feel uncomfortable. So not a damnation at all if you're like in a program or wanting to complete stuff, you know, because you felt like that is the case. It's just like Spirit wants something different for you. And we have the Release card here. It's like this one of these great cards. There's some grieving here around the old you as you are stepping into April. Okay, so let it go, let it go. Allow the rain that has been falling, this grief, the sadness, the time that you've been spending on other parts of life. Just like, you know, this is great. Like some people would say, you got to finish the job it's done that you started. And I'm like, you know what? Well, even if he finished it, where would he put all those other 2 pentacles? Like he can't even hang the one down here. It's just here. And this one too. So are you okay to walk away from something and step into this gift of like channeling, is what I want to say, of you as this conduit and ability to go into the deep space. Even if you don't share that with others, there's something that you will bring you a lot of profound, like mystical experience. That's what he was saying here. As a result, they report having profound mystical experiences of oneness, feeling connected to everyone and everything in the universe. And so I just speak that for you as you enter into April, whatever that might look like for you, Empress Irish. Okay? And thanks for being here today. And to those of you in the membership again, because those are the cards we pulled first, we're going to go on to Dora King next. I have Dora King, Isabella, Jay, Charlotte, and Miss Megs. Yeah, to those of you in the membership, if you would like to join in on that and take part, but like also we'll have the ritual coming up. I have to post that for the equinox or the eclipse. Whoop, solar eclipse. Okay. Also, that's actually the week we start. There's like readings of the Book of the Law from Crowley, so that'll be an interesting aspect too. Powerful days. Fascinating. It's on that equinox day too. Okay. Thanks, Empress Irish. I haven't considered channeling as a gift. Yeah, and I use the word gift because I like the word gift, and something that I'd said to someone that I really enjoyed hearing from another person, I can't remember where I heard it originally, was this idea that, we call these things a gift, like we were given this thing and we have to hold it in a certain way. It's like, well, it's an ability. It's like, it's not like it's something that can be taken away or like whatever necessarily. It's like, you didn't have to buy it or work hard for it or something. It's there. It's you. I'm not yet capable to share my gift of tarot readings and Reiki healing. Okay. That's okay. Whatever that looks like for you this month, I think you'll be called to kind of push beyond your comfort level. I didn't say it. It was the book. Okay, Dora King. I think you asked something about a condo. So let's see if there's anything around that. What does the book have to say for you? Okay. Oh, this guy talks so much about the brain. Oh my God, I'm such an ass. First, because you are perceiving yourself as being beyond the physical world, which means that there's no outside danger to anticipate, your thinking brain, the neocortex or seat of your conscious mind, slows down, becomes less aroused, and works in a more holistic fashion. Earlier, we talked about how living by the hormones of stress causes our brain waves to fire in a very disordered, incoherent pattern, which in turn means our bodies can't work efficiently. Because we are trying to control and predict everything in our lives, we become excessively focused, shifting our attention from one person to another thing to some place at a certain time, activating the various neurological networks assigned to each one of these knowns. I'm just going to go to the next paragraph, okay? Dora King. It says, once we slip into the present moment and become aware of this infinite field of information where there is nothing physical, and once we are no longer analyzing or thinking about any body, anyone, anything, any place, or any time, we are no longer activating those different compartments of neural networks in our brain. He goes on for a while, kind of repeating this. I'm kind of getting this sense here, what I'm reading from this is this idea, Dora King, of like kind of hyper-focusing on what it is that you're wanting, or, this condo. Like there's something that's like become an attachment here for you. And this idea again from the book, it's like from the brain to the heart. Like, how can we come from this logical thinking mind? This is how I interpret it. Again, I haven't read that book. I know a little bit about his stuff. I wouldn't say I'm an expert. Definitely wouldn't call myself a scientist. It's like moving from the brain into the heart space, into that flow state, and feeling what the house is, what the space is that you want. What is that going to bring for you, Dora King? And not less about, can I afford this? What's the logic? Like these logical things that like, this is a scary aspect to consider. Like, this is, even before we moved into this place, we had some conversations where it's like, oh my God, like, is this really the smartest thing to be doing? And it's like, and that realization of the fear and the illusion of the fear that, money or whatever it could be, could kind of show up. because everything happens for a reason, you know? So can you allow yourself to be in the connection to what it is you want the house to feel like, this condo, this space? What do you want it to contribute for you, Dora King? You have the Six of Wands and you have the Hanged Man. I think this is just showing the desire to connect to the surrender piece and the shifting your perspective, okay? Because you're going to be triumphant. That's what I see with the Six of Wands, is this triumphantness, this he's holding like the wreath on his wand. Everyone else is kind of reaching it up. So there could also be other people kind of involved that might be playing a role in leading your thoughts a certain way, Dora King. You know, okay, I see you. I hear you. That's great. Being mindful of who you share that information with. And then going into the meditation, going into a state of this heart coherence, this openness of heart, in which you can start to just, again, I'm just keep saying that for some reason, tapping into like, okay, how do I want to feel in a new space? What is that going to contribute to me? You know, imagining what it would look like. You know, what are the things that really light you up about a house or a space that you live in? Where would you like it to be in the area that you live? You know, is there walking trails? What does it feel like to like walk on the trails? Like, it's more about the energy here, not so much about the logical. Does this house exist? You know, what area? Okay, well, I know that these areas, or this area over in the Northwest has this type of house, and this is the cheaper area of town, and, you know, it's kind of safe. Like, you know, it's just like, what is it that you want? Okay. And focusing on that energy. Yeah, thanks, Shihira. I'm like, science. I know he does great work on science. A little known fact that I'm embarrassed to say is I didn't do very well in organic chemistry, okay? Like, really not well. Despondence. Yeah, I feel like there's something tapped. It's almost like you feel like what does despondence mean, folks? Someone can tell me. Like, I'm getting the sense here of something being tapped off, cut off, like you're cut off from a source almost, and haven't been allowing the world, the universe, the earth to really source you with the energy and the possibility, Dora King, of what wants to be provided for you. And this is just part of the learning. It's okay. How can you rely more on the earth around you and be supported by that? Realizing that you deserve to have that. And, you know, carry that wreath high. Carry yourself up in this like grandiosity almost of what it is that you want. And know that you will be supported by the universe. Okay? So I would say, like, experiment with that. With the eclipse season coming up too, there's some power with manifestation. You know, like new sort of like a portal opening, right? So see how you can tap into that as well for yourself, okay? Yeah. Pius, please pull one more for me. Oh, we'll see, Pius. I also have to go. We got things to do today. Yeah, I think all these things apply to work, to personal life, etc. Okay, Dora King. Well, that makes sense. Okay, Isabella. Let's pull cards for you. Appreciate everyone's patience. Okay, this is chapter 8, Mind Movies or Kaleidoscope. And the paragraph is the second paragraph on page 179. It says, the commercial began with a nighttime exterior shot of a couple's home. As the camera zooms in on the house, the words night number 14 with shingles appear on the screen. When the shot moves to the interior, tender yet foreboding music plays while an elderly man moans in pain at the foot of his bed. His concerned wife enters the room and asks him how he's doing. It hurts, he replies. In the lower right corner, in a tiny font, almost the same color as the background, are the words, our actor portrayal. The wife walks over with a look of despair and slowly lifts her husband's shirt, revealing huge red scab lesions covering more than half his lower back. The imagery is shocking, grotesque, and horrific, looking like nothing less than a large third-degree burn. In my 31 years of practice, I've examined hundreds of people with shingles and have never seen anything that looks so severe as the manufactured lesions in this commercial. I immediately knew it was designed to evoke a strong emotional response with the viewing audience, because it certainly did in me. And then he goes on in the next paragraph, Isabel, to say, once you see the rash on the man's back, the commercial achieves its goal of commanding your attention. Okay. Well, there was a few different things that kind of showed up as I was reading that. The first around like the loss of, if there's a masculine energy in your life, if it's a grandfather or something like that, a father, or someone who is in that sort of pain experience, medically unwell, or like has some dis-ease going on in their life. And then the idea of what shingles represent, I was just talking to someone about this the other week around shingles. And shingles, it doesn't really matter if you're older or not. It can happen to anybody. This occurred to my sister, and really it was around stress. She started to realize, like, if she doesn't get enough sleep, and like if there's a really stressful situation, then she starts to develop these types of physical symptoms. I like how he said it in the book too, how the commercial is trying to get your attention. It's the same thing about physical ailments, 111 on there, that it's like the physical ailments, the dis-ease, this is all stuff that the body does in order to show you something. So one, option would be to look at Louise Hay's book, or you can find it online. There's like lists of like is it called Heal Your Life, Heal Yourself? I can't remember, something about that. And she talks about all the different physical ailments and disease and kind of the causes of it from like a spiritual, emotional, mental kind of aspect. Okay. So there's something there. I think what this has to do with, though, is probably grief of like relationship loss. I always see the Two of Cups, and I think the Lovers, just because it's two. I think that there was some things that you like bore up for the masculine, potentially for this other individual that was like a take, and it's left you kind of with just sorrow, with this nothingness, this at nighttime you being in bed crying and feeling the daggers of life, and so I want to just invite you, whatever that is. Oh, so fascinating how the caduceus is there. Maybe there's some benefit for you to even look into the symbol of the caduceus. So the book, Dora King, is called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. My interpretation of the symbol of the caduceus comes more so from the biblical story of Moses and the Hebrew people in the desert after the Exodus. And what was happening was they were getting bit by snakes in the desert and people were dying. And God's like, okay, well, in order to stop this is the healing process, is, build a rod or a staff and this bronze serpent on the staff. Nehushtan, I believe is what it was called. And when this was built, it would be lifted up, and when people looked at it, they would be healed from snake bites and da-da-da. And then I think it got to the point where they kind of like turned it into like a worship symbol, So I guess what I'm saying, there's something around that symbol and healing for you, Isabella, or whoever might be in your life that might be going through something like this, and doing your part to explore what could maybe be causing that. Okay. Again, like I said, shingles, for instance, that could be due to stress and other issues related to family systems, the whole organism system, because it's the skin. You can look up, again, what's her name? Heal Your Life, Louise Hayes. If you just look up like Louise Hayes list of ailments and their spiritual causes or something, you could probably find it. And yeah, if there is someone in your life that might be going through this challenging point, how can you share your love and your passions with them to bring light, okay? That can, I think, be really quite a distraction, because I say that because there they are reading this book, being in their power, and this person sitting on top of the newspaper, not even looking at it, okay? It brightens their day. So whatever that might mean for you. Don't know why these cards are upside down. That's weird. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Woo, we're making great time. I'm going to get everyone in, even if that means some of these readings have to be a little quick. Okay, Jay, you're next. Let's see here. Then we have Charlotte and Miss Megs. Jay. If you can give me your name, Jay, maybe that would be helpful or something. Honestly, I don't think it matters. I was like, oh, I need your name and location. That's just like, if you're there, your energy's there. Oh, you guys, I'm so weird sometimes. Jay. Here. Okay, more science. Have fun with this one. These pineal metabolite chemicals your body produces fit into the same receptor sites as serotonin and melatonin, but they carry a very different chemical message from a realm beyond sensory-based material reality. As a result, the brain is now primed for a mystical experience, opening the door to other dimensions and moving the individual from space-time reality to a time-space reality. Since all frequency carries a message, and that message is a change in chemistry, once the pineal gland gets activated and you start experiencing and processing these higher frequencies, energies, and elevated levels of consciousness, they often present themselves as complex, changing, geometric patterns usually perceived in the mind's eye. This is good. This is information. So as I read that, I'm thinking, about DMT, about these sorts of hallucinogenic experiences that can open up our mind, Jay. And so if this is something that's happened for you and maybe has led to some confusion, know that this is just kind of chemically shifting your brain, your mind, it can be scary. I get that. It can be scaring. It can be overwhelming. So talking with someone could be really helpful around that. You have the Page of Pentacles here. And as I saw the card, I wanted to say, like, you're building a new reality. This is like the beginning stages of like this new world, this new perception that you are creating. And maybe it's been created because of one of these experiences. You have the Magician as well. So you're being kind of shown this stuff as a way to really highlight the power that you hold. Sometimes people take these drugs or have even an experience, we imagine at the start, you maybe missed it. I think you came in later. We imagine light shining into our pineal gland. So I found that interesting that now we're reading about it. And we can do breath work, we can do meditation. There's all these mystical, spiritual practices that can create such a crazy change in our awareness and perception. It can be overwhelming. For myself, my experience with spiritual emergence was literally just me meeting someone, leaving our interaction, and I thought I'd been drugged. It wasn't a drug. I just became open to energy. I was seeing things, feeling things, hearing things. It was quite overwhelming, and yet so much gratitude now for where I am, for that spiritual awakening, spiritual emergence. Dare I say sometimes it can be a spiritual emergency where we're being mislabeled. I would say it's mislabeled. Diagnosed with mental health conditions that may not necessarily be the case, yet, acknowledging sometimes medications can help as well, okay, to bring groundedness and balance. So what is it that you are now seeing that you've birthed into your reality here, Jay? What practices can you also do to kind of ground yourself? I'm seeing a lot of the flowers, the earth with these, even though the person's lifting something up being connected to spirit. So I feel like that's going to be something that's important for you, Jay. Going for walks this month, getting outside as much as possible. If it's nice for you to do so, moving your body. Embodying is integration of a psychedelic experience. You know, it's drawing it in to yourself. Yeah, so you're in recovery, whatever's going on. Spirit wants to continue to guide you. So when you feel called, oh my God, you guys, like, just stop it, because like my mouth is just going and I'm like, my brain is like shut off. Sorry, Spirit, I had to stop it. It was kind of overwhelming for me. So if that's something that you feel, you're like channeling and like just giving things out when you go out, Jay, you know, like take the time for yourself and your body. You're in a recovery. You don't have to like hold the key for everyone, and Spirit's going to guide you to connect with the people that will support you, to give, you know, share teaching, share understanding with you. That was what was wanting to come out before. I had to kind of just, and yeah, it's a beautiful part of life, this journey, this experience, okay? Ooh, so there's something there. I want to point out too, my understanding is this symbol at the top is the pineal gland. Okay, it looks kind of like an acorn. And I felt like I had to share that with you. Though, oh, I put the other card away for the other reading, so I'm not sure if it showed it on that Two of Cups. If anyone knows if it shows the pineal gland on the Two of Cups. I know some of you, like Andrew, might have an idea of the tarot. Yeah. So thanks for being here, Jay. If you're still there. Okay, Charlotte. Ooh, we're making great time, folks. We'll do these two, Charlotte and Miss Megs, and then I think we'll close off. Oh, I've got to pull you up. I have to open the book first, though, Charlotte. Well, maybe I'll just leave that out, because that wanted to maybe come out. King of Pentacles. Now, let's see. Oh, one in the book. One's to come. That just came really quickly. I was on a pilgrimage and mission of sorts. I was traveling about the country, teaching the philosophy that I had studied and lived by my whole life. I was under the tutelage of a grand master whom I loved very deeply because of the care, patience, and wisdom he had given me for so many years. It was my time now to be initiated and to deliver a message to change the minds and hearts of the culture. I knew that the message I was disseminating was counter to the current beliefs of that time, and that the government and religious orders of the day would challenge me. The main message of the philosophy I studied would free people from living in any type of obligation to something or someone outside of them. So, Charlotte, it seems as though you've been given this task of carrying something into the world, something that's going to transform lives. And, you know, as most people who receive that information, it's like, oh my God, I can't do that. That goes against everything, you know? I teach Reiki, and it's like my Reiki teaching of the levels has shifted. And it's taken me time to actually step into that, because it's like, oh my God, what would my teacher think? Or, you know, how will this be received? People don't really get it. They don't want to receive it or whatever. And yet I feel internally this desire and need to do it. Okay. And so for you at this point, Charlotte, what is it that you are being called to, or that you have been creating, that you've received in your learnings and experience wants to come out? I want to just add to that, because that came up, Crowley with the Book of the Law. You know, my understanding from what I've read is he had channeled that Holy Scripture book, and he didn't do anything with it for quite a few years. He was like, no, he was like waiting for confirmations of why and when he should let it out, and how did he know it was really like a channeled message and all this stuff. And I didn't realize how much of that kind of doubt, I would say, that he had around it, you know, wanting to make sure it was right. And yet he finally did let it go. He let it out into the world. And like, if you've ever read that, it's kind of nonsensical in some aspects and counter to what a lot of people would probably want to receive. And yet there are people who engage with that and hold it up very highly in that high regard. So whatever that is, Charlotte, for you that you're feeling called to create or put out there, I see you like actually traveling, which is interesting. Traveling around like the world, exploring places, being asked to give talks or share your information through these circle spaces, and maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed of how is this going to happen, okay? Maybe you're feeling like you're leaving a lot of your emotional responsibilities and attachments behind. I get that. I get that. You know what? You don't have to leave everything. Look, there's a missing cup there. So what is this? What is this that you can bring with you that might even be a container for all of this, you know, each little piece? And there might be sorrow within that. I think though, Charlotte, like you'll come to see that there's going to be so much more rewards in the end, like releasing those attachments. Do you like dingleberries? Someone asked me. Sarav route. I'm not sure what that is. I don't think those are a real thing. And thanks for being here. So you have two cards that came out, Charlotte. You have impatience and you have forgiveness. So I feel like this card, the forgiveness, has something to do around that cup or the cups that kind of are being left behind. I think there's like some forgiveness that you might be called to do prior to this, like forgiving yourself. You know, it's like kind of doing the forgiveness work in proactively. Okay, like, oh, I'm so sorry that this is happening to happen, or I'm having to leave this job or whatever, this relationship, you know, like, please, like, I love you, you know, honoponopono, I love you, I thank you, da-da-da, okay? So just recognizing the power of that forgiveness for yourself as you step into this path. And there's no rush on that. We have the impatience card here, okay? We have the blue throat chakra card. And so whatever this image is for yourself of what you see as this King of Pentacles, this sharing of that knowledge and the wisdom teachings that you hold, how can you continue to keep that in your heart as that like dream and know that you'll take the steps when it needs to? This doesn't mean you got to go figure out your whole life plan right now, okay? Spirit's guiding you. I love how like Spirit's kind of coming from the ladder even, like the wisps of light. It's like Spirit's the one holding and lifting you. So you'll reach it in time, okay? Sarav route, are you being real? This sounds like bullshit. Well, if you'd like cards pulled, you can let me know. We'll pull you some cards and read from the lovely scientific book. That's hilarious, actually, that you come on here and you say science is the future, and I'm like bitching and complaining about this scientific book we're bibliomancing from. So thank you for that confirmation. Okay, I hope that makes sense, Charlotte. Thanks for being here. And have fun. Maybe one day I'll cross paths with you with whatever you're sharing. That'd be neat. Okay, Miss Megs. Let's see what's going on here, Miss Megs. Ooh, book. Yeah, I haven't seen you on here in a while. Mind you, it's been a month since we did these lives. Ooh. Oh, Sarav route. You are so hot, they said. Thank you. Hey, Tammy. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's been a while. I missed you in the... what am I doing here? I missed you in the circle. Okay. Miss Megs. Then we're going to close off, folks. Miss Megs. As you enter this endless, vast space as an awareness, there are no bodies, no people, no objects, no places, and no time. Instead, infinite unknown possibilities exist as energy. I just want to add to this, Miss Megs, the chapter for this section is tuning in to new potentials in the quantum. So if you find yourself thinking about knowns in your life, you are back in the three-dimensional reality of space and time. But if you can stay in the blackness of the unknown for long enough, it will prepare you to create unknowns in your life. In the previous chapter, when I was instructing you to return to the present moment, I was referring to you stopping yourself from thinking about the predictable future or from remembering the familiar past and simply unfolding into this eternal vast space as an awareness, to no longer place your attention on anything or any one material in this three-dimensional reality, like your body, the people in your life, the things you own, the places you go, and time itself. If you do that properly, you are nothing but awareness. That's how you get there. The thing that really stood out to me was the idea of staying in the blackness. But if you can stay in the blackness of the unknown for long enough, it will prepare you to create unknowns in your life. That makes me think of Binah, the mother sphere, the third sphere on the tree. I don't have that here, do I? It's the void. It's where all life comes from, like our womb space. And, let's pull cards for you, Miss Megs. This idea of the womb. The idea, we have the Page of Cups. The idea that we can birth life. And without, it's like giving birth to a child even. You don't really plan what the baby's going to look like. Okay, Page of Cups. What other card here, Miss Megs? I just gave birth a month ago. Oh, congratulations. Life has been a crazy roller coaster. Woo, yeah, I can imagine. So you're tapping into the mother energy anyway. Fancy. You got so much. Yeah, the cups. You have Knight of Cups, Page of Cups, and you also, you have here the Two of Discs, okay? So the cup, look how there's the fish in the cup, life literally in the cup that he's enjoying, okay? And then here we have the Two of Discs, which the Two is actually the sphere just before Binah, the third sphere. Two is Chokmah, it's the masculine force energy. So I feel like within this, maybe there's some energy here where it's like he says in the book, it's almost like you're trying to force some things and the thoughts can play out coming. I'm not sure if this is your first baby or what. There's a lot with that mother energy that can be overwhelming, and our thoughts want to create stories, and it's really about just bringing it back to the breath, and trusting that this juggle of life, this force energy will come. It can come from the masculine, if there's a father or this masculine kind of active force energy that you can allow to kind of guide and support as much as possible, even if it comes from other people, okay? It doesn't always have to be the actual father or that masculine. It's there's this juggle of life kind of happening. You're learning this interplaying flow. And how can you be the empty cup that continually is poured into and filled and drank from, okay? It brings life. That's the imagery that I'm getting within all this. A lot of stuff around water here. But all these cards, even the two of Discs has water in the background. So you have the Destiny card. This is your destiny. And that doesn't mean necessarily you have to abide by everything that's happening. Because again, with Binah, it's the concept of creation. Everything is being birthed and happening. And I love how in this concept of the two pillars, Binah would be in the black pillar of Boaz on the left, or the right, I guess, if you want to say. And Hakim would be the white pillar, the pillar of severity and the pillar of mercy. And so as the pillar of severity, You know, recognizing that you have a role as a mother, even if you're being in this place of discipline or having to be in this place of like, you know, like it's like the word sometimes like, why are you being such a nag? Like oftentimes men will say this to their partners or something. It's like, well, it's like roles, you know, finding balance, obviously, and recognizing your role to play. That's what I feel like wants to be said there. So how can you tune into this blackness, this void space, Miss Megs, and allow that then to pop up that which is for you, that spirit wants to share with you and bless you with, okay? I think there's a lot of fun for you to have with that this month, and I hope the baby fun is just, yeah, becoming more and more for you as you continue on with motherhood. Whew. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been great. We've been here for a while, so we're going to close off. We'll do that with just a simple grounding. So wherever you are, if you'd like to have your eyes opened or closed, you may. If you're just tuning in, you can obviously go back and watch the recording of the April monthly energy reading. And for now, tuning in to that light that shines right in front of your face, that star that we began the practice with earlier, and allowing that light to shine into you once again, filling into your pineal gland, into your brain, letting that light bathe you with vibrancy, and allowing that light to fill your entire body. And in order for light to be present, there needs to be an environment, and usually that environment is dark. So maybe you're seeing the light filling the darkness within you. It's not scared of the dark. It just allows itself to fill into that space and merge with it. In a way, we could say the darkness becomes light. So even with Miss Meg's statement here of being stuck in the unknown, being stuck in that darkness, how scary it can be, trusting that this light now that fills from the star into your entire being just begins to fill you with clarity, with awareness, and with love. Letting it fill all the way from your head to the soles of your feet. And we ask those guides, those angels, your ancestors to be with you as you continue on your path for this month of April. To show you what needs to be shown so that you may take the steps necessary to create the life of your desires. To shed what needs to be shed, to remove those lids that have held you from really expanding and growing. Whether they're beliefs, relationships, concepts, or veils, shadows that might be placed on you. Thank you, Spirit. I'm feeling this energy rippling out into the world, knowing that you can be that ripple of love and appreciation and gratitude for others as well. Oraya naya sarayishtite ka anda ar irayandikiti aroiksginda. Thank you, Spirit. Now your next inhale, breathing into your heart and opening your eyes, coming back to the space. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Lovely to see you again. Looking forward to our time together live in May. And until then, if you'd like to join the Saturday morning circles, you can check out that link, join the membership on YouTube, or head over to my website, deepmindsquared.com. And yeah, come learn and have fun with some other magical ways in which we explore life. And yeah, until next time. Yeah, you're welcome, Miss Megs. Thank you, Tahira. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, everyone, take care. Okay, bye.